and now it's good. Okay, so we're going to be drawing Armored Aidan, and if you take a look at some of the past weeks, you're going to see Aidan. And then Aidan has a special ability, if you read in the description, that Aidan changes. His ability is that he carries a backpack, and in his backpack is a Bible. And what he does is, when he opens up his Bible, it unfolds and it becomes his armor. So just like how the Bible talks about the armor of God. So that's what we're going to be drawing today. Now, this is brand new. I'm just learning how to draw Aidan in his armor. So you're going to be watching the process. So we may not even finish the final product. We may do this in 3 sessions. So today, next week, and then the following Thursday, we'll do the process, the entire process. So you're going to be joining me with the entire process of how I start from scratch and then come up with the final result. So Aidan has the ability to change from his normal self to being armored up. So we're going to do that, and I want to walk you through the process. So if you have a pencil and paper, that's good. You can also use something to draw a circle, and I'm going to show you why in just a moment. In fact, you can see the thumbnail here. You're going to see his head. His head has is a circle because that's how Aidan is. So we're going to start with the iPad. Well, I'm using an iPad, but we're going to start with the basic sketching. So let's just start. I'll switch here, and you have if you have a paper, if you're using paper and pencil, then you're able to let me just switch this so that you can see me. You're able to erase, but we're going to work on not erasing, okay? So when we sketch, and I've said this before, we're going to use our whole entire arm when we sketch, because then it's a little easier. And when you're sketching, this is when you make all the mistakes. It's in the sketching. I'm going to sketch lightly so that you can see, and you can see that. I'm going to be sketching dark, but you sketch light. And the reason why you sketch light is because you can always go darker later, but if you sketch dark, you can never go lighter unless you erase. But and when you're sketching, you don't want to erase. So we're going to start with drawing the basic shapes, and the main one for Aidan is a circle. Now you can use a compass, or you can use something like a can or a jar or something that has a circle, like a lid from a container that is a circle. So you can do that. But for now, we're just going to draw, my paper moved. I'm just going to draw a basic circle, okay? So just for sketching purposes, we're just going to draw like that. We're sketching a circle. Once you do that, you're going to split it in half. And you're going to, once you split that in half, then you're going to split the head in thirds. So you have 1, 2, 3. So as you can see, this is one area. In fact, this should be a little lower. So it should be here. So 1, 2, 3 sections. 1, 2, 3 sections. So you're splitting up the head in that kind of way. And then for the bottom is about maybe 2 of these. So as big as that is, you're going to want to bring that here. So roughly around, actually a little bigger than that, maybe around here. And the reason for that is that's where his feet is going to be. So his feet are going to be there. And then maybe draw some space, because that's going to be the thickness of his boot or his shoe, I guess. And then you're going to split this in half. So what we're doing now is just laying the basic structure of what his body is going to look like. His head can be a little bigger, in fact, but we'll stick to that for now. Again, this is just the sketching. So once you have the basics down of what it's going to look like, then you can bring in for his eyes area, because Aidan has large glasses. He doesn't have his glasses underneath his armor, because he doesn't need it, because his armor has special lenses where he can see. So once you have those two circles laid out, this line right here, right, you're going to draw a line on the bottom and a line there. So it's almost like a bone or barbells. So you see two circles and then the line in between, and that's going to be what connects it. And then you're going to draw on this side, where this line meets the circle, you're going to draw two lines like this. So it almost looks like he's wearing goggles, but we'll get it after. And it may not have to be that thick. Again, draw very light. I'm drawing dark so that you can see my drawing. And right now it may look a little weird. Again, we're going to go through the process. We're not going to spend too much time on this today because we're going to continue next week and then the following week. So you're going to see the whole entire process of how I come up with a character. And in this case, it's going to be Armored Aidan. And this is Aidan when his Bible opens up and becomes his armor. So once you have that down, that's the basic structure. And now we're going to work on the body, the suit. So draw just the basic structure like this. So I forget what this shape is called. What is that called? Okay, I'll get it later. It's in my head. It's not a trapeze. If you know the shape, then when you post this on your social media, tell me what this shape is. Okay, once we have that down, now we're going to draw the other part, which is going to be the legs. And then, of course, this is going to be his boots area. So it's just rectangles like this. So that's the basic structure. His arm is going to come down like this. And his hand, you can draw a square for his hand. So that's, again, draw very lightly, okay? Draw very lightly. Same thing for the other side. Very, very lightly. And then same thing, square for his hand. So we're just sketching in. So that's the basic structure. It almost looks like a minion from that cartoon. Basic structure. On the side over here, you need his ear panels. So you're going to draw that. Remember now, use these lines for your basic structure. And that's the basic structure for Armored Aidan. Now what we're going to do is get some detail in. So the reason why I asked you to draw very lightly is so that when you, this is called the rough draft. And now you're going to do another draft. So I am able to use another layer, but I'm going to make this lighter, which is usually what you should already, this is how light you should be drawing. Hopefully you can still see it. But you draw light so that when you go with your next layer, then you can see your lines better. So now what we're going to do is darken it a little bit more. And I'm going to draw a circle and use my tool so that it's a circle. And then same thing for this one. It's a circle. And then the other circle. So you can already see that it's a little off. So my circle should have been bigger. You see the sketch? The sketch is almost too not to scale. I wanted it to be a little bigger, the head, which I kind of said in the beginning, but that's okay. So we can adapt. We can again adjust. That's why we sketch. So it's going to be like this. And again, we're just sketching. Now we're going to bring in some detail, okay? So on the bottom part, you're going to draw, and remember, keep this in half. It should be half like that. So we may have to make some adjustments along the way. So you're going to draw a half circle, and you're going to outline that. That almost looks like he's having a sad face. That's not his face. Those are actually grooves in his armor. And then right here is going to be his mouth area. This is where his mouth will be. So just like that. On the sides here, where you drew those ovals, you're going to draw his ear. I'm not sure what this is called. Like ear muffs or area with. In fact, you can angle this. Angle it like that. Bring it up and curve it a little bit. Again, you want to draw as light as possible so that when I'm drawing dark, but you should be drawing light. Just so that, and you can move your paper around if you need to. Draw as light as possible. I'm drawing dark so that you can see my markings on your screen. Okay, let me turn this down too. Okay, so that's where we are so far. And then we're going to bring in some detail on the top. So because Aidan, a lot of what Aidan is about circles, we're going to do that. Put that on the top. And then this is going to match kind of his hairline, just so that he has a kind of a look to him. And so we're going to draw in these lines, draw this side in, and it'll come down like that. So with Aidan, it's not going to be symmetrical on this part. Symmetrical means what you see on the left is going to be on the right. So we're going to now bring that line at an angle to that. Remember this line that you drew? That's there so that you'll have a reference point. And then right from the middle, you're going to draw another line. And then put this across. And you're going to bring this up. Bring that up. And then you're going to match this side. There, here to here. So same on each side. So it's not that symmetrical, but it's almost similar. And then of course you're going to bring in these lines, almost like his sideburns when he doesn't have his armor. Okay, and we're going to draw for about 10 more minutes, and we'll see what we come up with. Okay, and then fill in this side so that it matches, just like that. Kind of looking robotic for a little bit. That's okay. Now we're going to bring in some detail. So same thing under here, very tiny circle. Remember the middle now, I messed up on that. So watch this middle. That's where the middle is going to be. And this is going to be his body armor now. So you're going to draw in for his arm, the plate, or the shoulder plate, just like that. Do the same thing on the other side. And this part is pretty symmetrical, which means what you see on the left is going to be on the right. And if I'm going too fast, then you can pause. Hopefully I'm not going too fast. I was doing actually it's too far over. Make sure it's the same. So use this as a measuring tool where you're drawing from. But I was doing the draw with me with some kids last week, and one of them said, "Stop talking." They put that in the chat. So if I'm talking too much, I apologize. I'm just trying to give you direction. Draw some rivets here, just some detail like that. Just put a circle there. And then you can draw kind of like the chest plate is going to be here. So you can draw that there. Bring in the chest plate on two sides. And then it's going to come up, up, and then like a circle, kind of a half circle. And then you're going to do the same thing on the bottom, but not circle. It's going to be angled like that. And then it's his abdomen area. So just like that, you got 1 and 2. So that's just his lower abdomen area. In fact, it should be higher. You see this line? I shouldn't go below that line. So watch your spacing with this. Oh, excuse me. So watch your spacing. I should end here. So when it comes down like this, this is what I mean when we're going to do the entire process. It's sometimes you have to redo things and make sure that it's making sense. So I should go this way. May work better. That like that. There. So at least we have an idea of what it looks like and make some corrections along the way, which is fine. Because now we're putting in the details, so you don't want to miss the detail. This is going to come out here. Same on this side. and then it's gonna tuck right here and then come straight across to match the bottom part. That way it all makes sense. And this is going to be kind of like his hips area. 2 straight lines down, curve in, drop down like that. His legs are going to pop out like this on both sides, and it's going to come in and come in, and then these are going to come out like that. So that's kind of like his thigh area. So as you can see, he has a really big head. Okay, so that's just the body part and then the legs. And we're gonna do some detail here. So if it's getting too small, you're gonna have to use your fine tip with the pencil. Then we're gonna draw this, kind of like a V. Just draw a V on both sides. And then you're gonna draw that down. Curve this like that. Curve both sides. Same thing on this one. You can curve this one too, but this one you're going to curve out, then in. Curve out, then in. So that's the top armor part of where his boot is going to be. And then it protects the bottom of his boot. So draw that curve and then come up and across. And then this one is going to connect there. So same thing. You're going to bring it around. Come down, come up and across, and then bring it down and connect it there. So that's going to be the armor plate for his boot. Then you can draw some details here. You're going to draw a line here and a line there, line here and a line there, and then kind of like a rectangle square here. So this is just details that we can correct later. Right now it may be looking so detailed and so difficult, but if you do step by step, you'll be okay. And if you need to pause and catch up, that's fine. You can do that too. For the boot on this leg, we kind of went too far. We missed this bottom line, but that's okay. Again, this is just a sketch. So this is going to be the bottom of the boot. And it's almost like you're like a bar of soap. You're drawing something that looks like that. And then because it's circular, you're going to draw 2 circles like that, just for the front of the boot. And then these are like air ducts, so that it doesn't get heated in his suit. So same thing on this side. You can draw his boot, or his foot. The whole thing is his boot. So same thing, like a bar of soap. You can draw those 3 air pockets, and then again those 2 circles, just to give him a theme. That's what his boots are going to look like. Okay, so looking good so far. We're going to finish up with a sketch, and then we're going to continue next week. Okay, we're going to keep it short and sweet today. But he also, let's draw this side first. His arm is going to be in there, and then he has another protective armor. And it's going to be like that. And here you can draw a circle too. Kind of like an oval, because it's kind of on the side part. And then his hand is going to be kind of a tough one. He's going to have a little armored plate here. So you can draw that in. It's almost like an L. If you look at that, it's an L. And then you just connect it back up here. So that's going to be on the top part of his hand. And then his hand, this is where it's going to be a little challenging. So you're going to lightly sketch his fingers like that, and then his thumb like this. So just lightly sketch it in, because you're going to have to add the detail in later anyway. You can connect that there. So when it comes to his hand, I'm going to blow it up so that you can see it, and I'll make it a little thinner. So his pinky is going to be here. Then you're going to have the next finger there. Turn it a little bit. The next one there. And then finally this one. So that's what it should look like. And then you can box it in, just to add some detail there. Now for his thumb, it's going to be in 3 segments. So you have the first segment, 1, and then 2, and then 3. So that's how his hand should look. Pretty robotic looking, I guess. Now this side, it's going to be symmetrical, so you can draw the same thing that you just did, and it may seem difficult, but all you need to do is copy that side, and remember, stick to your lines, stay close to that, draw it very lightly, and there's going to be a reason why you're going to draw this side lightly also. So draw it very lightly, don't forget that circle, and actually that should be good right there, and here's why. Because you're going to come from here, draw a line up. You're going to draw his shield. He has a shield. He has a shield to protect him. So if you read Ephesians chapter 6, there's the shield of faith. So he's going to have a shield, and it's going to cut off right there and come to the bottom right here, this line. He has a different kind of shield. It's not a circle. It's not a square. It's just an odd shape, which fits his description. So he has his own look to his shield, and because of that being there, and his hand is going to be in here, his hand is holding the inside, so you're not going to see too much of his hand. You're just going to draw 1 and 2 fingers behind. So if you can see it, oh, I should have blew it up. So he's holding on the inside of his shield, so you're not going to see his whole hand because he's holding the handle of the shield. And then you can finish up the backside area and just lightly sketch that in, or lightly color that in, just so that you know that that's going to be the kind of the back area or the side wings of his chest. And then the last thing that we're going to end up with is his sword. So his sword is tucked away in his back. So his sword is coming out from the back, so you're not going to see the whole thing, but you will see just enough to know that it is a sword. So you draw a rectangle like that and draw the middle of the blade, and then of course the guard here, you can put it at an angle. So draw it like this, bring it out a little bit, draw an angle, and then bring it in, and then you can of course draw the handle, and the handle is going to maybe come up like that. Again, we're just sketching, so we can fix it later. You can even move it a little bit just so that it's sticking out more, and what I mean by that is just so that you can see it better, so that it's not confused with that. So maybe you would have it come this way. So you would have the guard there, and then the blade on that side, and you can use a ruler for this, and of course this would be the middle, and then you're going to draw the handle and see how far the handle is going to come out. And I don't know how you want to draw your handle. You can do it in many different ways, but I'll just draw a simple one like that, and maybe put some grip on it. So that's just the basic sketch for it. But that's what we're going to do. We're going to start with that, and then we're going to continue next week and finish up a little bit more, maybe add some detail. But this is just the sketching for it. And then as we continue next week, we're going to be able to add